Well, g'day and welcome to this month's 455 Meet the Member. Today we've got the excitement of introducing McGrath Estate Agents. Well, I think it's really important that we go back to the beginning and we understand what McGrath's all about. So in a land long time ago, there were dragons.
Matty.
John, how you doing?
What's going on?
Nothing, but just going through, we're actually talking to the 4556 chamber and doing the Meet the Member video. Actually, this is perfect timing. Do you want to sit down and I'll ask you a few questions?
Be a pleasure. What a coincidence.
Yeah, that was good timing. Perfect timing. So I won't read from the McGrath book, but look, you had a dream and you had a concept about starting a real estate business. What was that concept and how does it look today?
Well, when I got into real estate, Matt, I saw it as being a really important process. You know, moving homes, families, whether you're renting or buying or selling, it's a pretty important part of your life. And I saw it was done really badly. There was no information, no transparency, very little integrity, and I thought, well, you've got to be able to do something about this. So my vision was to make it stress-free, transparent, profitable, fun to do, which it was none of those things. It was more akin to going to a dentist back in those days, and I think it's got better, but a long way to go.
Yeah. It's not every day that somebody like myself gets to sit, or even just a small business owner gets to sit across the table from somebody that's been so successful. What are some keys to success that you can share with us today?
Wow, that's a longer video than probably I suspect we're going to have time here in terms of the chat, but I think you've got to kind of think big. As a business owner, there's a lot of competition, there's probably a lot of mediocrity in most sectors. You've got to think big. So when I started and I became a real estate salesperson when I was 20, man, my dream was to be the world's best real estate salesman. I don't know where it came from, but I kind of just thought big and I aspired. And I have no doubt that kind of in that journey, you do things better because you're challenging yourself and you're raising the bar constantly. And I think that's a really important starting point. But the next thing, you've got to then start believing your ability to do that. Because some people think big, but then if you scratch the surface, there's often a lot of doubt beneath that. So you've actually got to convince yourself that pretty much anything's possible. So then you've got the vision, thinking big, you've got the belief, then it's just about execute, and work out what is your plan. And my plan's changed 10,000 times because the world changes, the company changes shape, you go from one office to 2 to 100, and each one of those has a set of complexities. So just making sure that you also have a really good ability to change and pivot and reinvent and redesign, because a lot of people get stuck and the world's changing whether you like it or not. So as a small business owner out there, and I hope some of those might be listening here in this area, you've got to be able to respond to what's happening around you. Like right now, social media, it's a big deal. If as a business you're not paying attention to that, or in fact you're not mastering it, you're going to be challenged by someone down the road that is going to do that. So just having a look at, what are the changes in the consumer habits, what are the business opportunities, what are the new tools, leverage opportunities, and then really going out there and embracing them.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see funny things on a daily basis because obviously we're dealing with people. Is there any funny memories or funny events that stick out to you from?
Wow, look, there probably are a lot. I do remember selling my first chance. I had to sell $1 million property, and in many parts of Australia today that doesn't sound like a lot, but it was a lot back then. And for me, I was in my early 20s, 22, 23, and I'd listed this property, and it was beautiful sandstone home. It had been just fully refurbished by a very good quality builder, and he was racing to get it finished before we started showing people through it. And he'd spent a great amount of time, and I was so excited, he was so excited, and I was in Paddington in Sydney, and I remember taking the client, very lovely couple, and I just told them about this and about the quality of the builder and how he's blood, sweat and tears to get this home done, and how they'll never find a better finished home. And I remember we went to the front door and the door handle came off in my hand, which was kind of, and that didn't represent the house, because it actually represented his rush to get everything finished. And perhaps the most important thing, hadn't had those last couple of screws. But I remember that kind of moment when you just think, I'm not going to sell this property to these people.
What did you say? Like when it came off in your hand, what did you say?
I said nothing. No, I looked at it and I sort of laughed, and they laughed. They went through. They didn't buy the house, but I did sell the house soon after, and it was one of the first $1 million homes ever in Paddington to sell. So we're going back, 25, 30 years ago, when $1 million was a lot of money in Australian real estate, and nowadays in Sydney, for example, just to share with perhaps some of your audience, we're selling one-bedroom units for around $1 million in some precincts.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Near the harbour, near the beach, we're talking about $30,000 a square metre, up to $70,000 a square metre. So if you think about that, at $30,000 a metre, a one-bedroom unit of 50 square metres is like nudging $1.5 million.
It's incredible.
So, but Sydney is like New York of Australia, and one of the things I love about this community and this postcode is it's a real community, it's real people, it's authentic, it's not the mad rush to keep up with the Joneses. It's actually living life, I think, in a more authentic way, and I'm not criticising Sydney, it is what it is, and part of the bigness of Sydney and the brashness and the pace of it is part of the exciting part. But I think when you're in a beautiful community like this and you can actually live a real life surrounded by real people, it's a blessing and something that we should be grateful for.
Yeah, we certainly live in a beautiful part of the world. I mean, just look at that behind us, it's just incredible. Absolutely unbelievable.
Incredible.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you so much for your time, John. Really appreciate your time
Pleasure. My
today.
pleasure, Matt. Thank you.
And thank you very much, Chamber, for this time. We look forward to seeing who next month's 4556 member is. Until then, thank you.
So that was a lot of fun, but what the hell was that dinosaur all about at the beginning?
No, it wasn't a dinosaur, it was a dragon. Definitely not a dinosaur.
Dragon?
Yeah, dragons. Dragons are so much cooler, they breathe fire and everything.
Amazing.